The Hamilton Bulldogs return to Cable 14 this Friday evening, live from the Dog Pound at First Ontario Centre. Game time is 7:30 p.m. Visit cable14.com for a complete list of televised games.
Hi everyone, welcome to Hamilton Life. I'm Linda Rohr. Great to have you along with us. Have you set any New Year goals? I talked about this earlier, but it is the start of the new year. We're going to talk about a lot of things on today's show that can help you with that. One of the things I'm trying to do is cut down on tea. And I know tea's not bad for you, but the problem is that I drink an entire pot of black tea every morning. So I'm trying to get it down to one small cup and then maybe move to green tea or something. So, you know, it takes a long time to get out of the habit of doing things. And then you get the headaches and caffeine withdrawal. Maybe you're experiencing the same thing. All right, here's what's coming up on Hamilton Life today. We are going to be talking about an aioli. So if you don't know what this is, we're going to show you how to whip up one. But this is using avocado, which of course is a very good power food for you. We'll have more on that. We're also going to show you a really neat technique when it comes to the woodwork in your home and some of the things that you can do, whether it's in your kitchen, your trim. And then we're going to show you different ways to anchor things to a wall so that you do it properly with our friend Steve at Home Depot. That and so much more coming up on the show. But first of all, we're going to start off with just before the holidays, we had a chance to go in to see the Rotary Club here in Hamilton, and they do this pancake breakfast for kids in a school that really could use that little fun pick-me-up during the holiday time. And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to show it to you before Christmas, so instead, we're going to show it to you now. Check it out.
Every year, the Rotary Club of Hamilton AM runs a pancake breakfast for the students at Hess Street School.
The Rotary Club of Hamilton AM has been doing this for 20 years, and the kids at the school just love it. We come in, a lot of members were here already at 6:15 this morning, emptying cards and setting up the griddles to cook the pancakes.
They come, they set up this beautiful day for us. They bring books for all of the students, the treats and the pancakes, and gloves. This year gloves, someone donated gloves from the Rotary for our kids. I think it's one of the main events of the year. When I came here, they told me about this special event and that I would just love the experience, and I have. It's wonderful. It really is magical in the school.
The pancake breakfast is just one of the many ways the Hamilton AM Rotary Club shows its support for the Hess Street School students.
They've bought books for every student in the school. At the end of the year, they pay for computers to be refurbished and give to our kids that don't have computers in their homes. In the past, they've brought authors into the school. They are a wonderful partner, and they've taken on being part of our village that takes care of our children. So they are exceptionally wonderful to us. We wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things we do without their help.
As the season wraps up, the Hamilton AM Rotary Club intends to keep on giving. For Hamilton Life, I'm Kinga Mushinsky.
I think the number one resolution that people have is to lose weight, and then that, of course, goes into diet and getting your workouts in and everything, Tyler. So we're going to talk about that because this is something that people will start off the new year with, and then it fizzles out.
2-3 weeks, you know.
And especially when it comes to food. I think this is the hardest thing for people to do. They think working out will do it all, but it's healthy diet, and that's what we're going to focus on.
Yes, I once ran into a person, she's the owner of a popular gym in Hamilton, and she once told me, and she owns a gym, mind you, you can't out-exercise your diet. What she meant by that is like it's easy to devour like 600 calories. You can do it in 5 minutes without thinking. It's an hour of dedicated hard work at a gym to undo that decision.
Ouch.
So when it comes to exercise, it's it's absolutely important. I think there should be less emphasis on just looking at your calories burnt per hour when it comes to exercise, because you will always be underwhelmed. Hop on a treadmill and you're working your tail off and you look at the calorie counter and it's like 5 calories, 10 calories, what's going on? But
it's a type of exercise too.
There's types of exercise, and there's more important reasons to exercise. But the key thing is understanding that there's about 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. That's just pure math, basically, for chemistry purposes.
Wow.
So if you were to starve all day and then hit the gym, it would take about 6 hours of high-impact cardio, 9 hours of running on a elliptical at a high clip, or 14 hours of walking just to lose 1 pound of fat.
I shouldn't have ate all that shortbread. I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have.
It's not a good idea to work it off. It's a better idea just to not eat it.
So we're going to go through some of the myths, right? So the one is the best way to lose weight is through exercise, which we had up, right? So not necessarily true. It's important, but make sure you have a healthy diet. And the second one is eating fat makes you fat, or eating carbs makes you fat.
Yes,
let's talk about that.
There's a bit of myth around that as well. It's calories that essentially make you fat. And fat and carbs, they do have something special about them, but it's not entirely true that just because you eat fat, it like turns into body fat. Fat has twice the amount of calories per gram as protein and carbohydrates, so there is that aspect to it. The big problem is that fat is built into everything. It's like, a lot of processed foods we eat, there's just fat hidden in the background. So even if we're not directly consuming
and the
fat,
junky fat, that's the big difference too, right? The bad fats.
Exactly. So that's what adds up. But it doesn't mean you should be afraid of things like nuts and seeds and using olive oil in your salad. Like there shouldn't be any fear there as long as you're using it in reasonable portions. And it's the same with carbs. Carbs don't contribute any more calories than protein, and they contribute less than fat. But they tend to be addictive if you have too much of the refined carbs, like we talked last episode, where you have there's that instant sort of reward system that when you eat refined carbohydrates, your brain releases happy hormones, so it becomes literally like a vicious cycle when it comes to carbs. But you shouldn't be afraid of, and there's like a trend going around with like wheat belly and you're not eating grains, and you shouldn't be afraid of grains, vegetables, or fruits, because if you're eating a heavy plant-based diet, you'll be eating carbs.
Right. And then what about miracle supplements? That's another myth.
Yeah, so as a person who sells supplements, I hope you would believe me when I say that there is not the best evidence I've ever seen out of all the studies I've ever looked at. Less than a pound per week in terms of results that people would see. So you lose less than a pound a week. Best case scenario with supplements. And that was a meal replacement, which is what I usually advocate anyways, because with meal replacements, you're basically saving calories. You're taking a 700-calorie meal, you're swapping it with a 250-calorie
So again, it's looking at that calorie balance. And I think, too, the better foods you're putting into your body. I've always believed that a calorie isn't a calorie when you compare a sugar calorie to something that you're getting from a healthy food, right? And how your body uses and interprets that.
You're right. The calories they are equal, but you're right. There's a difference as far as how your body uses different calories.
Now, what about snacks? Because I think this is the one thing that really gets people, is that we tend to snack on crummy food, not food that's good for us. So how do we kind of switch the gear on that? Because I think it's so hard for people to eat what we see in front of us here. We want, the chips or the crunch or whatever it happens to be, right?
There's a bit of a status quo that we've established in North America where it's, we don't view this as snacks. This is not snacky food for most people. It's not appealing to most people. But the important thing is that, and I've had a million clients, in myself included, who, at one point in your life, McDonald's may be delicious to you and you love it and you just love the Big Macs and everything. At some point, you acquire a taste for better food, and then going back to that tastes awful.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the same thing with this. It takes a bit of effort. Like, even if you just give it 2 to 4 weeks, basically, of just trying it, you'll be surprised at how it holds you over, how you start losing inches on your waistline. There are certain foods that I even have that I tell my clients that you could literally eat endlessly and you'll be full before they contribute to any calories.
Yeah, and it's mind over matter too, is what I find. Like, get into the mindset of eating stuff like this and knowing that what you're putting in your body is so important to your health, and then that will really help you. You look at something that's not good for you and think that could cause illness in my body, I'm not going to eat that. I think that sort of has helped me because I loved the junk food. So now we've got tips for automatic weight loss that you put together. So we're going to put that up and we're going to go through as many of them as we can before we run out of time. So I think one of the good good ones is eliminating dessert, or at least just have it once a week. Make it a special event, not a daily event.
Yeah, you don't have to give up everything you love. You just have to make sure that it doesn't become a staple. And that applies for like snacking, like we're talking about. It also applies if you're the type of person that is always on the go and you're always stopping it for takeout, or you're always eating out at restaurants. It's the example I like to associate it to is like if you're always buying coffee from Tim Hortons, for example, and you know, you're spending $1.60 a day, and you suddenly switch to make it at home, you're saving, you know, $30, $40, $50 a month times a year. It's the same with pounds and calories.
Yeah,
these little
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, these little habits that basically, if you just cut out desserts, make them a rare occasion instead of a daily occasion. Same thing with, you know, getting rid of sodas and juices and that type of thing.
That's an easy one. But I think I heard on average, if you just eliminated pop and juice, you can lose like 10 pounds in a year.
Tons of pounds.
Like easy, right? Which is great.
Additive, like it happens year over year.
Yeah, replace it with water, as you said. Like drink lots of water. About, you know, I think it depends on the person, but 2 liters a day, or maybe start with 1 and work your way up.
Yeah, it's true.
That's a lot of water.
It's baby steps, but 2 liters is a good rule of thumb. And when we're talking about soda too, it's also important to include diet soda in there as well. Even though diet soda doesn't contain calories, there's a sweetness mechanism that you still taste. It sort of tricks your body into thinking something is
afoot, and I'm going to say it contains some nasty stuff too. Because I just think it stay away from it altogether. And then I like the one. We'll end on eat 6 half-size meals a day instead of 3 regular bigger meals, and that sort of helps keep that, you know, you sustain throughout the day.
Keeps the hunger mechanism sort of even keel. You're eating the same number of calories, but you're basically doing so over, you know, 6 smaller periods of time. One of the things I find with a lot of my clients is they may not even eat 2 or 1, like they'll just maybe eat 1 meal. And the problem with that is that if you wake up, you skip breakfast because you're too busy, you have just a little handful of something for lunch. By dinner time, you are so hungry that not only are you just going to eat more calories in general, but your willpower to make healthy choices is gone.
Absolutely.
You're just like, whatever I can find.
You're like the Hoover vacuum. You just take whatever in. And then the other thing, we have to end, but we'll put up your board, and if you do need help, and this is something that I think a lot of people need help with, is getting organized, knowing what to do, knowing your portion sizes, how to just get on track with eating well. Go up to Full Circle Healthcare. They've got some great programs in place there that can help you. They're at 131 Upper Centennial Parkway, Stony Creek. Go to fullcirclehealthcare.ca and also follow them on Twitter. We can talk more about some of those programs the next time you're on. Absolutely. All right? Katie's getting a lesson in staining with a cool product that is safe and eco-friendly.
Wintertime kind of is, I think, the perfect season to get all of your DIY projects done, Carissa. Yes. Because maybe you're thinking about painting something or staining a piece of furniture. You got lots of time on your hand to stay indoors. But being indoors, you usually don't want to use a toxic product where you're breathing in a bunch of VOCs. So what would you suggest as a really good natural alternative?
Well, we here at Natty Trappings, we carry the CC Caldwell's paint line, which everything that we carry is all natural, non-toxic, no VOCs. So we carry... CC Caldwell has the paint, which everyone knows about. But what they don't know necessarily is that we also carry a line of stains, which is a great alternative. Not everyone wants their piece of furniture to be painted. Right. So we can stick with the wood.
I'm excited. So I've never really stained anything before, but I hear people talk about it. That's pretty, time-consuming and difficult. But this, you said, isn't, because it's an all-in-one product.
Yes. So this is a stain and finish all-in-one. Typically, you need to stain and then do several coats of a urethane over top to seal it in. Both products, which are always quite toxic. Right. And lots of fumes that you need to do it outdoors. So this is great, something you can do right in your house.
Awesome. Good winter project. Okay, so first, what's the first step?
So you're going to grab your stain. We've got 2 different colors here. We'll both do a board. Give it a good stir. You really want to bring up. It tends to settle at the bottom.
Just a nice little stir here. Kind of like any kind of paint would anyways, right?
Yep.
And then we'll get our little brush.
So then you get your brush. Just a little bit. You really want to apply a very thin coat on your board. And you want to go along with the grain.
Just so you can kind of get it to seep in, right?
Follow in the direction of the grain. Yep.
Oh, this is a beautiful
And you're really
color.
brushing it right into the wood. You don't want to have any excess collecting in your detailed work.
Right, you want it to be nice, uniform.
Yep.
Because it start to be stain darker if you get too much in one spot, and then it won't have a nice uniform look.
Yes, and I mean, if you want a darker color as well, you can do several coats.
This is a beautiful color, and it's actually going on really easily. And that's it?
Yes.
That's all I have to do?
It. Typically,
that was so easy.
You would do several coats of a clear coat over top.
Right.
And this is it.
So my baseboard's done, and I can go install it, and voila?
Yes. Yep.
I'm done. I'm done my little piece, and that was like, what, 3 minutes? That's incredible. Like, what an easy product to use, and the results that looks fantastic. I think I'm going to take abstaining. All right, you're going to want to stick around because we have more with Chris and Natty Trappings. We'll see you guys soon.
All right, we're going to carry on our discussion with how to get on track and do the right things, because I think this is so important, Yuchi, for everybody to just live healthier lives. Like when we take a look at the amount of heart disease and cancer and illnesses overall that are often caused by lifestyle, the food we're eating, and the fact that we're not doing anything to help ourselves. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we can do to stay on track with you.
For sure. We get so stuck on the weight loss. We get so stuck on having a flat stomach. And people think having a flat stomach is all that's cracked out to be. It's maintaining it. Can you imagine if you get a new 2014 Ferrari, the minute you drive it out of the lot, you got to worry where to park it. Do I park it over here? Do I go this far away, not get it dinged? And that's what a six-pack is. It's high maintenance. So why not go for the flat stomach, which is a little bit easier, then go for the six-pack. But one way to look at it.
Yeah, and it's so true, because I think often we set these really high goals and exactly like, let's get the six-pack, and then you go like crazy and like for so long. It's very hard to maintain that. I mean, people have busy lives. A lot of people are commuting for a good portion of their day. The last thing they feel like doing is going to the gym or anything like that. So setting, I think, goals that are realistic is very helpful.
For sure. And you got to build activity into your day. Like people talk about working out for an hour, just like the gentleman said, and about 600 calories for an hour of Zumba, which is tough to go to. You got to drive to the class, you got to take the class, you got to change, you got to shower after. Well, they've shown that there's an enzyme, there's a gene that turns on this enzyme. It's called LPL, lipoprotein lipase, and it's 10 times more active when you're standing. So right now, us being sitting, we have a little bit of glucose being released into our bloodstream, and actually we're becoming a poor fat burner sitting down. If we did this interview standing like you did previously, this gene is 10 times more active. So you can build activity and fat burning into your day simply by standing, even simply by standing when you're talking on the phone. Some people say they're on the phone 8 hours a day. Well, if you stand every other phone call, you can literally be standing 4 hours of the 8 hours, which means you're probably going to burn an additional 600 calories that day. And you haven't dieted, you haven't exercised. All you've done is simply build activity into the day, which is much easier than driving to the gym, doing an hour of Zumba, looking like a geek as you're spinning around,
That's right.
taking a shower, then go back home again.
Yeah, that's fascinating, and that again like applies to doing a small action. Like that's not difficult for you to do if you're stuck at a desk all day long. Do stuff that gets you up, and I always think too, just do a lap around the office every 15 minutes at least, and do some stretching along with it just to get your body moving.
Well, it means you're more sociable. Say hi to people, give compliments, share some xylitol gum, so it's good for your teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, though, like building activity into the day, so go in to get a drink of water, not storing your big, pot of tea right beside on your desk, maybe. Make yourself some hot tea. So it's a little bit of work. So you got to walk to the pot, you got to make some hot water, you got to dip your green tea in, or even white tea now, because green tea is less processed than black tea.
Yes.
Then white tea is even less processed than green tea. But it's the catechins in it. So it is medicine that you're drinking. So instead of pounding it back looking for the buzz, what they say is when you're drinking tea, to make it more mindful and more intentional, is to sip your green tea. And if you ever Googled the scientific health benefits of drinking green tea, you'd be blown away, and you'd sip your green tea with a lot more mindful intention.
Which is
you get more out of it.
And which is really funny, because I used to make fun of those little tea cups, like oh, they're so pretty, those little tea cups, but that's like having a shot of tea. But that's probably what I should go back to, because then I'll just take my time sipping my tea.
It's like you sip, you bite the Godiva chocolate, you taste it, you let it, feel it on the back of your tongue, and then you swallow it. The Hershey's Kisses, you slam them back in. So anytime you take a more mindful approach to food, they've actually shown you get more a sensation of satiation or feeling full from it. Also, your body actually gets more nutrition out of it. You'll get better absorption by eating with more mindful intention.
Cool. Yeah. And then, of course, always writing things down, the things that you want to achieve. I think that's really important in keeping a lot of your goals.
Well, huge. And many people have, they have one goal, staying fit, but they'll say, I want to go to the gym more often, I want to call my mom more often, I want to get a new bike, I want to go join a Zumba class, I'm going to get certified as a trainer. Well, the brain, they've shown for psychologists, is that we're poor parallel processors. The best thing that we can do as human beings is to think of one thing at a time. So ideally, if we took our one goal for the year, and we could either maybe put it as your screensaver on your phone. So every time you looked at your phone and turned it on, it would say, stand more than sit. And it would give you more mindful intention. It would be easy. It's not, you can actually celebrate winning every time you do, rather than thinking, I can only celebrate the 15-pound weight loss come June 21st. Every time I stand more than I sit, I've won and I've celebrated. So I can make that check mark off multiple times a day, which is easier on the ego, more fun, to be around.
For
just being
sure.
more with intention. So writing things down is huge.
And then the support. I think that that's always big, right? Is when people know what you're trying to do, and then you can talk about it, and even do some of these things with others.
Well, I talk about creating allies, and I'll talk to groups of maybe 1,000 people sometimes, and people often learn, but they learn in isolation. They learn alone. They take notes alone. They don't share with people beside them. But I always make a recommendation that there's more experts in this room than me here on my own on the riser, and I have people talk with each other. And when they talk with each other and share, it's amazing what they get out of that learning together more than they do from me from the stage. But develop allies. So one way to think about it is tell your goals to everyone, which makes people around you more accountable. If you say, I'm going to give up drinking pots of tea, if everyone in the studio is saying, how'd the pot go this morning? How'd the pot go this morning, Linda? But if you told no one, where would your accountability be? So creating allies means sharing your goals with multiple people, and that way it actually make them think, Linda, how's the tea going today? And you're like, oh, why did I tell these people about the tea?
Exactly.
But I'm going to text you now and email you possibly and hold you accountable.
That'll help me. Yeah,
For sure.
I mean, just little things and staying on track, I think, is so important. And those were just 3 things that you just talked about there to stay on track, and they're fantastic. If we just did that, I love the thing on the cell phone. Just have that little reminder come up.
So take off the Brad Pitt picture, okay, and put back on your stand more than sit.
Yeah,
and every time you're sitting on the phone, I'm going to stand. If I'm preparing food, I'm going to stand up instead of sit down. Instead of sitting on a stool, I'm going to stand. You can't stand in your car, or you can't see up a sunroof. But at the same time, anytime you can build standing in the day, you will be burning calories and charge that LPL gene, lipoprotein lipase.
Love it. Thanks so much, Yuchi. Always
pleasure.
Great information when you come in. Love having you on. Author of The Miracle of Health as well. Check it out if you're looking for a good book to read. DrYuchi.com is where you can go for more information as well. And we'll see you soon. All right, stay with us. Learning to Calm the Mind is coming up after the break.
Hi, I'm Katie Stewart. Welcome to Hamilton Life Light. Well, we have one of my favorite, I think, events going on in the city. Even though I'm married now, Jay, I still really think that the Hamilton Halton Wedding Show you guys do is just absolutely incredible. You put on a great show.
Thank you very much, Katie.
And you guys have your January one coming up. So what can the brides expect when they do come out to it?
Well, the first thing I want to get across is we are back at the Hamilton Convention Center.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so the Careport Center, where we've been for the last few years, is no longer, and now we're back at the Hamilton Convention Center. So all the shows are more or less back there. So that's the first thing. Make sure you go to the right place.
Yeah. Go to the Hamilton Convention Center.
Which is downtown, and again, it's January 10th and 11th. But again, 2 floors full of everything you can possibly think of that's related to weddings.
Everything, because everything under the sun is going to be there, from A to Z, of anything from cakes and limos and dresses, and you even have your fashion show, which I think is a really cool thing.
Yeah, 2 fashion shows per day, Saturday and Sunday. And again, things that you would never think of wedding related, right? So there's massage therapy to all kinds of stuff.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting now, where a lot of stuff has creeped into the wedding world, and people, want to be pampered.
Yeah, the pre-wedding pampering, I guess.
Exactly.
Like, I went and got a massage for my wedding, so what am I saying?
There you go. Yeah. And also just that individuality of your wedding. You really want to express who you are and as an individual, plus as a couple moving forward. So just really cool places to get married in, and cool places to have your reception in, and cool things to wear, and cool things to do with your guests and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I found that, gone are the days of just having banquet centers to get married in. There's so many really unique and beautiful venues in this area that all come and they can kind of showcase themselves, which I really like about that.
And every season, too. If you want to have a winter wedding or spring or fall wedding, there's just really interesting places to do that. And the wine region to...
I got married in a winery.
Well, there you go.
I know you're talking about it. It's absolutely stunning out there.
Absolutely, yeah. And then also people that may have a destination wedding but come back and then have a reception.
A lot of people are doing that.
Obviously can't go to your destination wedding, or you don't want them to go to your destination wedding, right?
And another thing that I really like that you guys actually have at the wedding shows is the decor companies, because that's one thing that I thought about. I'm like, where am I going to get all of these different decor items that I need? But they have really unique places with some vintage finds as well.
Absolutely, and I think the thing that people really enjoy about the wedding show, and the reason why it's lasted so long, this is 46 years that this show's
46? You're kidding.
It's actually the longest running wedding show in Ontario.
And you haven't done all 46, right?
No. Only the last...
only the last few.
The last decade or so, yeah. But there's one thing, you can look at a magazine, you can go online, all that kind of stuff, but you can't touch it, right?
Exactly.
And you can't talk to the person and say, how do I incorporate this into my wedding? What do I do?
How do you get the vision?
Can you help me? And all that stuff. So
amazing.
Being at the show, you see it, you're touching it, you're looking at it, you're talking to people, and you're excited because it's an event with everybody else there, right?
Amazing. Well, for more information, you can always go to the Hamilton Halton Wedding Show on January 10th and 11th and check them out online. We'll see you guys later.
Well, welcome back to Hamilton Life, everyone. We're kind of joking around. That's like the Dr. Oz version of Hamilton Life today, because we're talking about health and ways to be healthy in the new year. And we can't not talk about the mind, because this is a big one. And this is, you're hearing more and more about this in the news anymore, and even just being talked about, Stephanie. And that's why it's so perfect to get you on board with us here on Hamilton Life. And welcome. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Linda.
And this is what we're going to focus on with you, is your mind and meditation, and how important it is for us. And a lot of us get all like weirded out. Oh, meditation. Oh, what do you do for that? But so important.
That's so true. And to charm the mind into stillness, you really just have to do it in your everyday life. So that last segment was perfect. Mindfulness in your eating, mindfulness in your breath, being at the computer, deciding all of a sudden to breathe your shoulders up and down. You're actively engaging yourself in stilling the mind. So the mind is something that can be worked at. If I say to you, bus, airplane, here, now, you're here now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your mind can be trained very easily through some very simple tricks.
But it's interesting when you mention all that off the top about mindfulness and as Yuchi mentioned as well, mindfulness in drinking a cup of tea, or in eating, or whatever it is that you're doing. We're not.
No.
Our brains are like, woo, going all over the place whenever we're doing things. We're really not bringing our mind to the moment of what's going on there very often, are we?
That's right. And I remind many of my clients or students that, if you set your watch or your phone to beep for a certain time, and then just decide, I'm going to take my 3 breaths right now. Boom. You just bring a whole new you to whatever situation you find yourself in. And it's so easy. It's somebody who says they're always looking at the picture of their son or somebody on their desk. If you bring yourself to that picture, send love and bring it back, or send forgiveness, taking a breath. That's mindfulness.
It is so simple, right? Like, I mean, I think people often think of mindfulness or meditation as having to sit there in a position for 30 minutes or an hour, however long you can do it. And sure, if you can get there, great.
Yes.
But just starting off with doing what you're talking about, and just having, the times throughout the day, or even start off with one time in a day where you can just have that real mindfulness. It's amazing what it can do for someone's overall well-being.
The Inner Life meditation program I do is all about, doing the dishes and breathing. Being able to take your bath, sit back, take 3 breaths, and bring that mindfulness. It's an exercise. You're training your mind to concentrate. If you can learn to concentrate intentionally and try to slow it down to mindfulness moments, you can start to meditate. And people make excuses and say, I can't do it. Well, can you take 3 breaths intentionally?
Yeah, that's a start,
that makes a difference. Remove yourself, go to the bathroom, take a break, sit down, and just breathe.
Yeah, that'll be helpful too.
That would be.
Now, you brought in a chart, so take us through what this is and kind of explain it to people. So because I think this is the main thing, is getting someone to understand. So you've got, I am okay, I am here, all is well.
That's correct. So the first 3 breaths I'll take you through is to actually state those things. And then after that, we're going to let go by just giving a big sigh, and then after that we're going to bring in either a hum or a little bit of a chant. If you're oming, if you're comfortable, you can do that.
Which I do in yoga.
Okay, perfect. That's a very nice yoga exercise. We'll do 3 ohms, and then we'll end with a breath that will just bring us down to silence. And that way you can say your own little gratitude at the end of that, and there you go. In less than a few minutes, you have done a meditation, and it's an exercise.
And as I said, it's a great start. And if you just take the time to go online and even research what this is going to do for you, and I think that's what's key, is that this is not something that most of us do every day. So we do feel a little awkward, or we're thinking, oh, this is way out there. Well, it's not actually. It's really going to do a lot for your life. So start small and work your way up. So can you take me through it?
Yeah, I'll take you through it. So place your hands together. Just take an intentional breath, just like in yoga. This brings balance. Now take your index to your thumb and place your hands in your laps. Try it at home, everybody at home. And let's inhale. You can close your eyes if you want. Exhale, I am okay.
So you would say that, I am okay?
You would say that, because you want to know that you're okay right here and now. Inhale 2, I am here. Inhale 3. All is well. Inhale 4, just a nice sigh. Letting go. Inhale 5, a little hum. Now for our Om. Inhale 6. Om. Inhale 7, Om. Om. Inhale 8, final Om. Om.
And then you would end off with giving gratitude on the 9th.
Inhale 9, gratitude.
And it's as simple as that.
And that's it.
It really is. It's fantastic.
So quick, and you can keep repeating that, and then you end up actually meditating. And if you want to invite peace into your life, you can say something like, I am peace, peace I am, all is well.
And if you want to learn more about doing all of this, they can check in with you, with Stephanie Hartsong, Master Interlife Coach. You can give her a call, 905-921-5339, or innerlifesolutions.ca. We're going to have you back again because I think this is really fascinating.
It's the idea.
We'll continue on the journey. Okay, now we're going to head out to Natty Trappings with Katie.
Well, how many times have you painted over a piece of furniture only to want the wood look back, Carissa? And you want to getting that wood look back can be a really painstaking process, right? Because you have to do a lot to get it back to looking like wood. Like, what do you have to do for that?
Normally, it probably was painted in a latex or acrylic paint. So you need to get a furniture stripper, paint thinner, strip it right down. It's a lot of work.
That's a whole lot of work.
A lot of fumes, and a lot of chemicals.
So this is more of an all-natural option and less like labor-intensive as well, right?
Yeah. It's just another option to, if you don't want to repaint it, but you also don't want to strip it down.
So what we're actually going to be doing today is what we're going to be painting. So this is what we're going to be painting, right?
Yes.
And we're just going to be painting it with a brown color and then covering it in a stain. And what does that kind of do?
So it's just going to give like a faux wood look. It won't be a paint look, but it's not going to be your stained original piece of wood.
So I'm just applying, this is just an all-natural.
So you're using C.C. Caldwell's all-natural chalk and clay-based paint. This color is our Texas Tea. And you can use really any earth tone shade. We've got a number of different colors that look great under the stain.
That would kind of make it look like a wood color, right?
Yep.
There we go. And so this would be a good option, say, for cabinets, maybe.
Yep.
Or any piece of wood furniture, I guess. All right, so let's just pretend I've covered the whole thing, right?
So you've got your piece finished?
I've got my piece finished. She's done. And now, of course, we have a dried one. And then I'm going to apply.
So now you're going to take your
right?
stain, and you're just going to apply a very thin coat again, right over top
super
of
thin.
the paint. Yep. Just work it right in.
And then once it dries, does it kind of create that wood grain look?
Yeah.
Oh, I can kind of see how it's starting to take shape like that. But you have
so
to
it
do
just really adds a lot more dimensions to your paint, different shades by putting the stain over it, as opposed to a solid paint coat.
Yeah, and it really is a nice alternative to having to strip all of that paint off. So that's kind of like what it would finish off looking like. That's kind of cool, eh?
So here's an example of it in a darker stain color as well. So
that looks awesome, and like from far away, like when you have it in the baseboard, right?
Yep.
You're not going to be able to see unless you go right up to it and stare.
Yeah,
so this
it's
would be
a
really
great option. We do it on a lot of tabletops as well.
Oh, that'd be a really cool idea as well. I'm learning lots here at Natty Trappings, so you're going to want to come back because maybe more here for us. See you guys soon.
Well, usually we have Paul come in with real reptiles, the live guys, but today we're going to talk about art, and this is beautiful artwork to begin with, dealing with nature and reptiles. And so the one we were just showing there, painted by yourself.
Absolutely.
And the one behind as well.
Yep.
Very impressive. You're a man of all kinds of talents.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, so this is really cool that you've taken, you know, your love and desire for reptiles and then made it into artwork as well.
Yeah, I like two passions. One is to teach children about the animals. The other one is to teach about art.
Which is great. It's kind of nice when you can combine the things you like together, isn't it?
Bring it together.
It's wonderful. And that's one of the great things that you are doing is teaching kids about both through artwork. And this is a program that people can here in the community can tap into.
Yep. Absolutely. The actual program starts tonight. It's 8 weeks. It's $120. And basically what I do is I teach basically all the fundamentals of art. And then I also do some printmaking.
I mean, I love this.
Yep.
I think this is completely cool. I'd buy that.
Yeah, and this is actually really inexpensive to do for kids to learn.
Really?
I like doing what I call the cheap man's art printmaking.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good line to have. I mean, and this is really cool looking, though. Like, I'm impressed that you can teach kids how to do this.
Yeah, it's really not that hard, you know, and you sit them down, and once they've done something like this, they're so impressed, right?
Well, they
with themselves,
would be.
right?
I mean, if a kid could come out with something like this at the end of a program, they're going to feel really proud about what they're doing.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that at the end of the program also that I'll be able to do like a little gallery thing with the kids too.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah,
well, if you do that, let us know, because we'll come out with the cameras and do a little feature on it. Because kids love that, right? When they can show off the stuff that they've been doing. But it really is great. So what kind of technique is this?
This, I actually use a foam, and then I use printer's ink. And basically what I do is I just hand cut it out, right? And then basically do the print itself. Yeah.
Yeah,
we sold a few of those at the zoo, actually, and that painting's at the zoo, and that painting's at the zoo.
Which is really great. Now let's move on to this one here, because I love this as well. This I thought was really cool. So what's going on with this particular type of art?
Well, Steve started this with the kids, and what it was is he saw something on another zoo that was using elephants. Well, we don't have elephants, so we decided to use a crocodilian. And so what he does is it puts a little bit of ink onto the animal sits on top, and then bang, we make this nice little print, right? And it's beautiful. And there's all kinds of little variations, right?
It's fascinating. And then you also donate money back to...
Yeah, about $5 goes back, and it helps in crocodile conservation.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I mean, which is what you guys are all about. And I mean, I'm always fascinated because I learn more and more each time you come in, not only about the animals that you've got that you take out to the community and show, but also the programs that you guys are involved in. I mean, you're really enriched into the community with what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, it's an inner city zoo that somebody can take the bus and go to, right? And a lot of the zoos you have to go somewhere, right? It's a bit of traveling. Some kids can't do that, so it's perfect for us. And then the other thing, too, is teaching the art. We have a photography program coming up, right, which we have the Take the Leap, I believe, is with Kevin Gamble. And so for people who are interested in that, get online, check it out on Facebook, and you'll actually be able to see what he's going to be doing, too. And they're going to be doing photography of the actual animals. So it's a really good portfolio for somebody who wants to do photography. And a portfolio for somebody who wants to do art.
Who wants to do art. And now, you did say that this starts tonight, so if people are getting information on this after today, can they still join?
Yeah, join anytime. It doesn't matter.
And then you'll work out
the financial aspects
dollars and cents of it.
That's right. Absolutely.
But really great. Now, what made you think that this was a cool idea? I mean, I know it was your passion, right? But
I've done this once before on teaching. I loved it so much, right? And it was so much fun. And the other thing, too, is that I'm always doing art myself, personally. I'm part of the Hamilton Inc. And I'm also, I do the art crawl every month when it's nice warm weather to sell my paintings and stuff like that. So it's just part of who I am.
Isn't that great?
So, I just wanted to join in.
It's always nice when you can combine your passions, as I said earlier, and you're very fortunate. You're great at it, too. I mean, I can see kids really being able to identify well and have some fun with this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love when the kids get excited by it and stuff like that, and then teach them, and then also see the animals in a different way, too, right?
It's terrific. Thanks for showing this side of you as well. It's great to see Little Ray's Reptile Zoo. You can check them out. Give them a call at 905-549-6868. Or you can go to raysreptiles.com. A great thing we've got here in the community. Get out and support them. All right, we're going to head out to Cayuga now to our friend, Chef Dan Magna, where he's going to whip up a really awesome aioli. He'll explain what that is using avocado.
Welcome to the Twisted Lemon Kitchen. My name is Chef Dan Magna, and today we are going to make an avocado aioli. So this is a bit of a mayonnaise that we're going to make with fresh avocado. Now, it's very simple. We only need a few different ingredients to make this work. We've got some eggs, some acidity, and today we're going to use some fresh lemon juice, and we've got a nice ripe avocado. Now, the only equipment that you need here, and we've got some olive oil here as well. The only equipment that you need is a small food processor. So simply, I'm going to take an avocado and we're going to split it. So I need to open this up, and we're going to go right down the middle until we catch the pit or the stone in the center. I'm going to roll our knife all the way around, and when we open this up, we've got our avocado. I can pull the stone right out. And we're going to take a half an avocado and we're going to put it into our food processor. Just like so. Very straightforward. Once we've opened that up, we need to add some acidity in, and this helps to give it that little bit of zest and that bite. And we're going to use some fresh lemon. So I'm going to take the juice of one whole lemon and I'm going to squeeze it fresh right into my food processor, catching all of the seeds, allowing all that juice to make its way right in. And this is going to give us that little bit of zest. Now, I saw a seed drop in there. I've grabbed that. No seeds in our smooth mayo. Now, I'm going to add in some egg yolks. This is going to help to bind it and richen it up. So to split our egg, we're going to allow the white to fall into our container. And we're going to put 2 egg yolks into our food processor, adding it to our avocado and our fresh lemon juice. So now we have the base to build this gorgeous aioli. To start, we're going to bring all of this together and make it nice and smooth. If you take a look at what we have here, we've got this nice sort of rich paste. This is what we're going to use to bring this together. So we've got nice rich paste, and I'm going to now slowly start to add in some olive oil. I'm going to add a little bit in to get started. Now I've got some roasted garlic olive oil here, which is absolutely tremendous. Tons and tons of great flavor. When we whip that up, we're starting, you can take a look inside here, you're starting to see this beautiful paste come together. I'm going to add in a little bit of salt and some fresh ground black pepper right into our mix. Blitz this up and bring this into a gorgeous smooth paste, and from here we'll be able to serve this. Oh, look at that. Look at this gorgeous paste that we have here. This is our avocado aioli with roasted garlic and fresh lemon. Now this is going to be fantastic for sandwiches, it's wonderful for spreads, but it's also a fabulous condiment to be able to use on the side for something like some seared tuna or a beautiful salad. So what I have here is a gorgeous chili and Cajun rubbed seared tuna loin with a jalapeno and sweet corn relish with a baby spinach salad and taro root chips. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chef Dan Magna. This is the Twisted Lemon Kitchen. Come back and check me out again on Hamilton Life, or visit me on my website at www.twistedlemon.ca, and promise me, when you're playing with your food, you're going to just keep it sexy.
All right, stay with us. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk about resolutions with your dog and doggy etiquette. Stay with us. Hi, I'm Katie Stewart. Welcome to Hamilton Life Light. Well, we have one of my favorite, I think, events going on in the city. Even though I'm married now, Jay, I still really think that the Hamilton Halton Wedding Show you guys do is just absolutely incredible. You put on a great show.
Thank you very much, Katie.
And you guys have your January one coming up. So what can the brides expect when they do come out to it?
Well, the first thing I want to get across is we are back at the Hamilton Convention Center.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so the Careport Center, where we've been for the last few years, is no longer. And now we're back at the Hamilton Convention Center. So all the shows are more or less back there. So that's the first thing. Make sure you go to the right place.
Yeah. Go to the Hamilton Convention Center.
Which is downtown, and again, it's January 10th and 11th. But again, 2 floors full of everything you can possibly think of that's related to weddings.
Everything, because everything under the sun is going to be there, from A to Z, of anything from cakes and limos and dresses, and you even have your fashion show, which I think is a really cool thing.
Yeah, 2 fashion shows per day, Saturday and Sunday. And again, things that you would never think of wedding related, right? You know, so there's massage therapy to all kinds of stuff.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting now, where a lot of stuff has creeped into the wedding world, and people, want to be pampered.
Yeah, the pre-wedding pampering, I guess. Exactly. Like, I went and got a massage for my wedding, so what am I saying?
There you go. Yeah. And also just that individuality of your wedding. You know, you really want to express who you are and as an individual plus as a couple moving forward. So just really cool places to get married in, and cool places to have your reception in, and cool things to wear, and cool things to do with your guests and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I found that, you know, gone are the days of just having banquet centers to get married in. There's so many really unique and beautiful venues in this area that all come and they can kind of showcase themselves, which I really like about that.
And every season too, you know, if you want to have a winter wedding or spring or fall wedding, there's just really interesting places to do that. And you know, with the wine region to...
I got married in a winery.
Well, there you go.
I know you're talking about it. It's
yeah.
absolutely stunning out there.
Absolutely, yeah. And then also people that may have a destination wedding but come back and then have a reception.
A lot of people are doing that.
Obviously can't go to your destination wedding, or you don't want them to go to your destination wedding, right? And
another thing that I really like that you guys actually have at the wedding shows is the decor companies, because that's one thing that I thought about. I'm like, where am I going to get all of these different decor items that I need? But they have really unique places with some like vintage finds as well.
Absolutely, and I think the thing that people really enjoy about the wedding show, and the reason why it's lasted so long, like this is 46 years that this show.
46? You're kidding?
It's actually the longest running wedding show in Ontario.
And you haven't done all 46, right?
No. Only the last.
Only the last few.
The last decade or so, yeah. But there's one thing, you know, you can look at a magazine, you can go online, all that kind of stuff, but you can't touch it, right?
Exactly.
You know, and you can't talk to the person and say, you know, how do I incorporate this into my wedding? What do I do?
How do you get the
can
vision?
You help me and all that stuff. So
amazing.
Being at the show, you see it, you're touching it, you're looking at it, you're talking to people, and you're excited because it's an event with everybody else there, right?
Amazing. Well, for more information, you can always go to the Hamilton Halton Wedding Show on January 10th and 11th and check them out online. We'll see you guys later.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So we've been talking about health and what to do in the new year with yourself. But what about you and your pets? And Vicki, I had a good chuckle at first, actually, when you sent this in to me, that people actually make resolutions with their animals, like their dogs as well.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm thinking, that's awesome.
It's great. You know what, if you're going to make a New Year's resolution that you're generally not going to keep anyway, it's easier to do it with someone. And if your best friend happens to be a dog, let's say, then make it with you and your dog. So, and you know, all of us like to think we know what our dog is doing in their sort of secret life, so maybe they have some resolutions too. So I thought it'd be good to chat about.
I think it's really funny. I laughed at some of the dog ones, which we'll get to in just a second, some of the resolutions your dog should have.
Right.
But I think, you know, I thought a really good one actually was spay or neuter your pet.
Spay or neuter your pet if you haven't done so yet and it's getting towards a certain age.
And you're not going to be breeding them?
You're not going to be breeding them. Hopefully, sort of, you know, that's not your intention for your household pet. Then go to your vet and speak about when it's the correct time to do it. Make sure that your dog's in good health. And then it's, you know, the best thing safely to do for you and your pet. So you can take them to leash-free dog parks. You can take them to places where they're not going to sort of get accosted by other pets. And, you know, it's better for their health overall.
It's just better anyway. It's a good thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And I do this a lot. Drives my family crazy. I buy new dog collars for our dog constantly because they need a new look.
They need a new, well, not only do they need a new look, people get a puppy. I get this a lot. We groom dogs, obviously. People get a puppy, and then it'll come in maybe 2 years later, and it's still got the same collar on it.
It's not good.
So, you know what? Spend the $14, splurge on a new collar. Rule of thumb is 2 fingers should be able to fit nicely under the collar, and then it fits, right? So maybe check, you know, every Christmas, buy your dog a new collar. They'll enjoy it. They'll look good. And you'll feel good.
And it's all good.
Right.
And I just like it for the pure cosmetic look of the animal and what they're wearing. And train them more. I'm always amazed at the number of people who say, I have such a bad dog.
Yeah.
And I always say, nope, you're just a bad owner.
You're just a bad owner.
And
you know
what?
I'm
like,
it's funny.
It's true.
It's true. And it's funny that you should bring this up because this is January. And every month has a thing now. So January is National Train Your Dog Month.
It is not.
It absolutely is.
That's funny.
Because I think a lot of people do make resolutions. Like, you know what, my dog is ripping apart my house. This is going to be the year that I finally train the dog to do something. And you know what, if your dog is extremely well behaved, then teach it to do some tricks.
Have some fun with them.
Have some fun with them because they're going to get bored in the winter. It's super cold outside right now, so you're not going to put them outside for hours to play. Teach them how to sit, how to beg, how to shake a paw, how to roll over. It's good for them mentally Selena, it's good for you. It also helps with bonding for your dog,
yeah,
right?
I mean, it does, and it takes a while usually, especially on the bigger tricks, as you said, like rolling over or something.
Right. Now,
a dog could take a while to learn that.
It can take a while to learn that. They can be really quickly to learn, or it can take a while to learn. Now, if it's more behavioral issues, then you might want to seek the help of a professional. So, you know, go out and look in Google and find out what the best dog trainer is in your area and get some help. Because to be an active and happy member of the family, the dog has to be able to be a good citizen in your house, right? So if it's not and that's causing troubles at home, now is the time to fix that.
Which will include the barking problem. If you have a dog that barks too much,
problem, yes.
What does one do?
What does one do? Well, here's a quick little tip. A dog, and I say this to my husband all the time because he yells at my dog constantly. So, for barking, when a dog barks, it is warning you that there is danger or that something is afoot. And it's speaking in a loud voice. And then you yell at the dog, you're speaking back in a loud voice, and it's like, yay, everyone's listening, we're all going on. We're communicating now because we're both barking loudly, and we both realize that something is afoot. Your dog barks loudly, you need to bring it down in hushed tones or in gentle, movements. No. Teach them that this is not something that they need to do. You can even thank them for their bark. Thank you for advising me that the mail carrier is here. I understand that he is here. Now go off and play and do your own thing quietly, right? Yeah. They're trying to tell you something. Generally, it's not to be annoying. It's they're in danger. They think you're in danger. Whether they are or not, they're trying to communicate with you in some way, shape,
so understanding that, I think,
understanding
is really
that is, instead of sort of barking back at them and sort of joining that pack mentality, chill them out a bit.
And I've actually put on my list, take my dog to the groomer.
Yay!
Which I'm sure you love to hear.
Halajula.
But it is because I don't do it. I don't do it, and I should, because I think it's good for the dog.
Your dog is a natural-coated, sort of short-haired dog,
yes,
right?
but just nails and stuff, too,
nails and stuff,
ears,
yes. And they do need a good bath. I mean, imagine that you didn't bath, if you had short hair like mine and you didn't bath for a year. Not great. So bathing your dog is good. Keeping up your brushing at home is good. If you're looking to get your dog into a new sort of longer hairstyle moving forward, you need to come and speak to your groomer about how to get to that point and how to maintain that coat.
And
it's good for health.
Yeah, you talk to a lot of people at the Ancaster Leash-Free Dog Park to get some of this.
Ancaster Leash-Free Dog Park has the greatest community of dog lovers, I think, in the Hamilton area. So I reached out to them and I said, what are your resolutions for your dog? And if you have a dog, which you obviously do, what do you think their New Year's resolutions
so I love this. They came up with
here
a great
we go.
list.
I'm going to go over a couple. So Sarah has her dog Callie, and her New Year's resolution is for Callie to learn 200 tricks by the end of 2015. Talk about training your dog, right? She said she only has 75 more to go to reach her 200 mark, right?
That's impressive.
That's incredible. So that's Callie and her dog Sarah, right? Why tricks are good. Let's talk about that. Keeps your dog's brain active, prevents boredom, and obviously January's National Train Your Dog Month. So let's join in on that. I think we have a picture now of Ron and his two Goldens.
Okay,
right? If we
talk
can
about
toss
this one.
up. If we can toss that up. Ron has two Goldens, which we groom at Yellow Dog. It's Tucker and Harley. Okay, they're senior dogs now. One's 9 and one's 10. So he wants to implement a calorie-reduced diet for them, right? And offering them treats that are more healthy. What happens is when your dog becomes senior, they become less active, and they're going to need their diet changed. So, I mean, if you've still got sort of a 2-year-old who's eating puppy food, change it. If your dog becomes a senior, speak to your vet about how you can change your diet. Right. Their resolution, by the way, Harley and Tucker's, was to swim more in the summer.
Oh, perfect.
That's what they're telling Ron anyway. So senior dogs, you need to adjust their diet accordingly. Joanna had her dog Macy. Macy's resolution is to stop eating pillows.
That's a good one to have.
Yeah, she sent in a wonderful picture of her Great Dane eating pillows. And I think perhaps Joanna's resolution should be to stop leaving pillows on the ground.
There you go.
Right?
It works both ways,
it works
right?
Both
the owner's
ways.
got to work with the pets.
Right. Now, dogs are attracted to items around the house that smell like you. Okay? So what I did when I got my dogs is, you're going to find this is terrible, but I walked around with a couple of stuffies under my arms for a while and cleaned the house. And so that when I know it's gross.
Only you would do this,
Only I would do it. So then I took out the stuffies. They stank. They were rancid. I didn't put on any gel. I'm like, here, play with this. To this day, they still love those stuffies. No one else will go near them, but the dogs adore them. If you don't want to put them under your armpits, you can sleep with them for a couple of nights and give them to your dog. Right?
That's
They want
hysterical.
something that reminds them of you, and that's why they tend to chew it to pieces. One more from the Ancaster Leash-Free Dog
Okay, that's
Park.
all we have time for. So.
Oh, next time we'll talk.
No, you get one more.
Oh,
It's
one more.
quick.
Good, good. Denise and her dogs Riley and Dylan, and this is a good one, resolved to take more walks together. right?
Perfect.
A lot of people make a New Year's resolution to get themselves healthy. If you have dogs, you do it with them, and that way you're working together as a team again to keep your dogs healthy and to keep you healthy.
All right, perfect. All right, and then dog, here's Yellow Dog Grooming. We're going to have you back in a few weeks. Vicki, thank you so much. Go to yellowdoggrooming.com. And before we go to the next segment, I did want to mention that the #1 thing for dogs to stop doing for their resolution is eating poo. All right, with that idea, we're going to head back out to see what Katie's doing at Natty Trappings. I love that one.
What to do when you have all of this beautiful wood in your home, but it's an outdated color. Maybe it's from the 60s, the 70s. And now, Carissa, you kind of want to give it an updated look because all of the darker browns are really in right now. Exactly. So what's a really good option that you can do without having to kind of rip out all of your cupboards, because that's kind of expensive?
Yes. So that's, again, the C.C. Caldwell Stains and Finish in One. It's a great option. You don't have to strip your cabinets, your furniture before. It can go right over top of an existing stain, Varathane finish, providing it's in fairly good condition.
Right.
So if you're just looking to spruce it up, update it a little bit, you can go right over top with a darker stain color.
How easy is that?
It's great.
Because when I moved into my house, I had like that really like light, I don't know, light birch color like from the 1960s. I'm like, what am I going to do with all of this? You don't want to go and replace perfectly good doors. So this is a really good option.
Yes.
Okay, but you're going to need to teach me how so I can go home and do this.
Okay.
Or show my husband at least.
All right, so I'm going to show you. This is a piece here that has already been stained. It's got a coat of Varathane over top of it. So it'd be like your cabinet starting.
Right.
So we're going to just stain right over top of it.
So any technique that I need to be using, kind of what we've been doing throughout the whole...
Again, yeah, apply a nice, really thin coat.
And why do you want to apply it in a thin coat rather than a thick coat?
It tends to pool and you get a lot of brush strokes. Now you've got a coat of Varathane and it's not seeping right into the wood.
Right.
It's technically just coating it. So you really want to make sure that you eliminate the brush strokes and so that you can still see the grain of the wood come through it as well.
So with that said, should I be doing long strokes rather than like a bunch of quick, short little ones?
Do long strokes in the direction of the grain of the wood.
There we go. And that's just going to seep right in and there you go, new cupboards. And you save yourself, I used a little too much stain there. Save yourself thousands upon thousands of dollars having to rip out all of this stuff. Very cool. So you could do this on what? Baseboards, doors, pretty much anything?
Yep. I recently did all my trim and baseboard throughout my house in the darker tone as well.
And it really is such a beautiful color. Like, look at that. I love it. Well, I'm going to hang out here with Carissa and get some more tips so I can go home and refinish my house. But you can always come check them out right here in Cayuga, and we'll see you guys later.
All right, next time I promise we will check in with Steve at Home Depot to show you how to anchor things to your wall. We'll see you next time on Hamilton Life.